Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 9 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're here for round 15 out of 22. We've got 14 drivers heading into this 18-minute qualifying session to set the grid for the race in Baku. First driver out, Josh Hewitt in the RB. After finally gaining some momentum this season, scoring points on the board for his best race so far in Italy. As we have Eggy going off at the runoff at turn 2 there. Just trying to reverse his way back onto track in an empty space. As Chaz... Did he have a quali ban? I don't think he did. He might have. As Drifting's also disqualified for blocking the pit lane. So, don't know what's happened there. I'll just quickly check the penalties. No. So that's already Drifting and Chaz out for some reason. Apparently Chaz's AI got disqualified as Laser Gamer has gone off. That's at turn 3. So, yeah, Chaz went in AI and apparently his AI stopped and Drifting couldn't do anything as well, I think. So they've both been disqualified. As we can see in the background, a Williams going off there. I think that might have been Nick. No, it's who's the other? Oh wait, no, that's Chaz's car, I think. Disqualified. Anyway, Laser Gamer then in the Ferrari, looking for some more points. He's been on a pretty consistent run actually so far, getting some good points on the board. Carbro returning in the McLaren, a few races out, back in now. We've got Hughes Morgan after one race out. Looks like he might be out of the championship fight, but if there's anyone apart from the top two who can win it, it's Morgan. But he is trailing by about 50 odd points, so he's going to have to do a lot to gain ground. Josh Hewitt, once again, like always, heading out on the medium, sliding through turn 4. Christian in P5. Also in the McLaren, looking for some more points. First race on wheel, he says. And what a track to try it out. It's a track that can test the drivers for their skill, precision, and determination with confidence heading through corners like turn 3. Bluey in the Ferrari this time round, the reserve. We got Josh in the Kick Sauber, making his appearance for probably the third time this season. We got Dave back in the Red Bull. He made his debut in Spain, got P6 on debut. He's back now, fully promoted. Championship leader then. If you all didn't know about the stewarding, we'll get back to that in a sec. Of Seb in the pit lane. Eggy. Unfortunately, he got his podium taken away from him last week. Again, I'll explain in a minute. Small Nick, he crashed in the pit lane last week due to an incident, but lost the footage, so couldn't report it, sadly. He'll be hoping to come back stronger as he is one of the top contenders. And Oren, as Josh Hewitt sets the outright pace, a 40.0, so will definitely be in the 39s, maybe even the 38s, you never know. So, Oren and Seb, the top two in the World Championship, 8 races to go, 10 points separate them. Oren did win the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Drifting, who's disqualified, ahead of Eggy and then Seb. So those were the top 4. Seb got his... Look at that, we're all way into the 38s with Small Nick. So, don't really know what lap time is around here. That's great. But Small Nick has certainly set the outright pace. So, yeah, Seb got his 3-second time penalty removed for getting a warning removed because Drifting hit him over the chicane. So that promoted him back in front of Eggy, which put him 4th. So Eggy lost the podium, unfortunately. But still, he's been very consistent in the top 4 in recent races, and he might be looking for another podium. So Seb got himself back in front of Eggy. But then, Oren's restart, which we did note, was a bit interesting, where he sped up and slowed down. For the first time ever, I think, Oren got, someone got a penalty at the being the leader for the restart because it just, it did unfortunately cause some incidents behind. So Oren did get a time penalty, dropped him to 3rd, and that meant Drifting. As much as he's disqualified right now, becomes the latest and newest EXFL Tier 2 winner, winning his first Grand Prix at Italy due to post-race stewarding and penalties, which also promoted Seb to 2nd in front of Oren, who was third. As we have 6 times on the board, and the other 6th in the pit lane. So yeah, oh, Morgan in the pit lane has gone deep there. Might not want to reverse too much. He might get disqualified, but he's gotten away with it. He's exited the pit lane, but he has wing damage, so that's already kind of affected him. Is the pit lane exit making these guys struggle a bit? So yeah, Seb before Italy had a 7-point lead ahead of Oren, and how they finished game-wise, Oren was going to take the lead of the drivers for the first time as he exits the pit lane on the mediums. But that is not the case, because Seb in fact gained 3 points as Eggy, I think, just crossed the line there. Still a big margin to Nick. But granted, this is Baku. There is so much time to find and lose, and to get the lap together right on the top 3, one of the top 3 longest tracks, it's going to be difficult. So yeah, Seb finished second, Oren finished third, so that 7-point lead he has goes up to 10 points between the two. So if Oren wins today and reclaims his 7th victory, and Seb is third, they'll be level on points, but Oren will take the lead because Oren has more wins. He weaves there through turn 4. Seb's still in the pit lane then, with about 11 minutes to go. And Nick is saying whoever that Sauber was. I mean, there's only one Sauber. It's Josh. He says thank you. I don't know if he means that sarcastically or something, or maybe he got a toe on the back straight. But Morgan's definitely probably going to come back into the pits because he's got a damaged front wing, which he is doing right now. And we're still yet to ride on board with someone fully and take us through a lap. We've got about 5 cars in the last sector, I think, about to begin one. We've got Laser, followed by Carbo, is up by quite a few tenths, could put him on the front row. And then we have Eggy, who's quite a bit off. Oren about to start his lap, and Dave as well behind him. So we're right on board with the Aston Martin then, clocking over 200 mile an hour on the medium compound tyres, as Carbo did go P2, 1.2 off small Nick there, but Oren will have something to say about that. Heavy braking down into turn 1. You want to hit a bit of the inside curve, but that does send you close to the wall as Oren just avoids it. The Sauber gets out of the way into turn 2 then. Again, taking a bit of curb, but not too much. DRS comes at you quite quickly. Gets on the power very well. Moves to the left, moves back to the right a bit. He's got a car in front of him. Might hurt his confidence going into turn 3, and he does clip the wall there. And he just about gets away with it into turn 4. Scruffy, but he's also pushing the limit, so there's a bit of a balance. 34.9 as he heads into turn 6 and 7. These curves can either send you sideways or gain you the time you need. Again, heavy braking zone, so easy to go deep into the wall, but you really want to mount that inside curve. Now, the most difficult part of the entire, maybe even calendar, through the castle section. So easy to clip a wheel, lose your front wing, or your entire suspension. They've removed that curve, but you could still probably gain a warning. But he's managed to navigate his way through about half the lap. Heavy braking then into the next corner. So easy to lock and go into the wall, but he's kept it hesitant and left a bit of time on the board for his soft run. 1:14.3 bounces over that curb as now it's smooth sailing. You've done everything you possibly can. Now it's just foot flat to the floor. Make a few adjustments on the kinks and don't get caught up in that wall. We've seen a few crashes over the years, big ones especially. And any battery you've saved up, you blast it now. You open the DRS slot and you cross the line. A 38.5 to beat. It's a 39.0. Still half a second off Small Nick, who's definitely in the fight and is going to go even quicker probably because he's on the soft compound tyres now. So Oren, for the first time actually, not really setting big pace in P1, but there are obviously those who can challenge, but you are obviously going to see bigger margins here. It's Baku, as we see behind Seb in a turn 1. Really close to the wall there. 8 poles to his name, Oren on 6. So Seb, I'm sure, would like a 9th. He's won here, of course, before. We got a yellow. There are some cars in front of him that could hold him up, as that's bit of an interesting place. But still, the Red Bull gets out the way. But it's still going to be an eyesore for the RB. We've got Sauber and the Mercedes in front. The Mercedes comes back in front, and that's going to affect Seb. Look at how much he's gone wide at the exit, and now they get out the way. I believe that is Eggy. So Seb probably not going to be too happy with the traffic. The Sauber still in front of him, I believe, on a lap as they head through the castle section. So easy to mess up as the Sauber does eventually get out the way of Seb. And in terms of warnings and 3-second time penalties, that exit seems to be the only place where you could get one. Maybe cutting the corner where I think that's Morgan just exiting now. Maybe cutting that a bit too much could also award you with one. But besides that, instead of a warning, you're just going to get into the wall as Bluey, as beginning his second sector. Seb, it's close between him and Oren, I think, with the times. He might actually be a couple tenths off, so we'll put him third. So small nick across the line, a couple seconds down, actually, so he must have messed up his run. So Seb will cross the line then. 38.5 is the time to beat. He crosses the line. It's a 39.5 to put himself third. But these are big margins, as we see behind Josh Hewitt cross the line. P4, only 14 thousandths off his teammate. So yeah, like I was going to say, we have two winners of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix on the grid here. Seb, who won in Season 5, and Chaz, who won in Season 7. So 1 year ago and 2 years ago. Obviously, Baku is later on the calendar this time. But yeah, I wasn't there for Seb. The only race I didn't do that season was Baku, and Seb won his first race. I was there for Chaz's, though, where he had a really strong start to the season, led the championship. So at the moment, Bluey, slowest of the runners, 6.8 behind. Chaz and Drifting will be sharing the 7th row as Lucas exits the pit lane in 9th. Dave up in 8th. Eggy 7th. Carbro showing some solid pace. Morgan also in 5th. So it looks like Josh has got a bit more of a handling on this game then and has found some good pace. But look at that. They're still nearly a whole second off Smolnik and Oren's medium run are the two RBs. But we know in Tier 2 how drastically different quali pace is compared to their race pace. How much closer it is, as Nick is up by just under a tenth. So that medium run he did must have been really good. But we'll see how much it makes a difference on the start-finish straight. Is he coming into the pits? Yes, he is. So it doesn't matter. He knows he can find the time. And I believe Smolnik has had a pole before. Quickly check. So Seb's had 8, Josh has had 7, Oren's had 6, Chaz has had 2, Morgan's had 2, and Drifting's had 1. So Smolnik has never had a pole before. Interesting. And I still haven't heard anything about the race with the weather, so I'm going to assume it's dry because no one's making a fuss. Eggy in 7th, half a second up, so he found some more time. Carbo still in a strong P6. Where's Christian? 10th on his new wheel. Like I said, big margins towards the back. But I'm sure everyone will be saving their best for last. 3.5 minutes remaining then, just over. And at the moment, Eggy and Bluey and Laser, the only ones on track. So Laser into turn 1 then. Currently nearly 3 seconds off the pace. Heading into turn 1 and 2, it's so easy to lose the car into the wall. Of course, we don't have Monaco on this season's calendar, so this track pretty much is the most difficult one for the drivers. You have others like Singapore, maybe Belgium, just because of its length and endurance. Maybe even Vegas, you never know. But this track really does test the drivers, and you see the biggest margins possible here, because the amount of time you can lose and gain from just not having the confidence. This is the corner I was on about, potential warnings. I haven't seen anyone lose it at the castle section yet. Oh, thought I jinxed that. But luckily, they've all managed to keep all 4 wheels on their wagons. Carbro, 3 and a bit tenths up in the first sector. Eggy about to cross the line then with 2.5 minutes remaining. No, he's, well, coming into the pits. So actually, I don't know if that might be session done for Eggy. He's going to have to be really quick in and out of the pit lane is going off there, turn 2. The McLaren of Christian. That's the second time we've seen someone go off there. Eggy and now Christian. Looking back to Laser then. We'll see what he can do. He is 2.9 behind. He's got to find about half a second to find a place. He's got to find 1.5 seconds to gain up to 7th. We'll see what he can do then. The Ferrari will cross the line. It's a 1:40.3 to put himself in front of Dave. He did find 1.1 seconds. So that might be session done for Laser in P8 as we see a gaggle of cars exiting the pit lane. And they'll all be on their softs getting ready for their final runs. I think that's Nick just in front of Seb. Yep. Top 5 all on their outlaps. Carbro just beginning his final run into turn 2. He's got quite a few cars in front of him. Entering turn 3. About 5. Including the Ferrari of Laser. 1.5 minutes remaining then. For them to all get round, start their lap. And who is bravest on the brakes? Who can precisely turn their car perfectly into the corners to gain the most ground and time? We'll see what Carvo can do at the end of the first sector. A 10th up. I believe he did a 35.0 though. Or someone did. Around his pace. So Josh Hewitt then into turn 1 begins his final run then. Yet to out-qualify Seb all season. Let's see if he can do that. Morgan's not too far behind Josh on track and in the lap times. Seb won't be too far behind either. The McLaren crosses the line of Christian to begin his final run. So we're still waiting for Seb. And then Nick. And then Oren. All 3 of them next to one another on the track. And then follows will be a few more cars like Josh and I believe Dave and Carbro, who's 7 thousandths up, who will need 2 more tenths to gain him a place as he has the 2 Ferraris behind him. 20 seconds left in the session. And it looks like maybe Bluey will be the last one to cross the line. Seems that way as they are all doing their final runs. Dave crosses the line to begin his lap. And behind him, Carbro, does he improve? By 6 thousandths. And there's a few seconds left. Will Bluey make it to the line? He has just about made it to the line. As that's it for Eggy in P7. So we know the 7th row of Chaz and Drifting. Let's look at the top 3 then. Nick by 14 thousandths is up. Oren still heading through the first sector. Seb up by 4 tenths nearly. And Oren up by half a second. So this is going to be very close between the top 3 as Josh has only found a 10th. So at the moment, it can place him above Seb if he messes up his run. But at the moment, they are flying. What about Morgan? He's also about to finish his lap. So Josh Hewitt then to cross the line. This should put him P3 for now. But it will probably be 5th by the end. He does find a few more tenths to help. And now we'll see what Morgan can do. Who's half a second up nearly. And this could potentially put him on the front row for now. But still await. Nick, Oren and Seb. Morgan crosses the line. And it is P2. Half a second off though. So small Nick. He's down by 1.1 seconds. He's made a mistake. And Nick at the moment has provisional pole. But watch for the top 2 in the World Championship. Oren versus Seb. Seb crossing the line. Is it the front row? Or is it pole? No, it's 3 tenths off for Seb. So Oren could potentially make it a 7th pole in Tier 2. Will it be Nick for the first time? Or Oren looks like he has the time to gain pole position. Oren crosses the line, and Oren is on pole position for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix by just over 2 tenths. And once again showing why he is one of the best in the tier. Carbro will cross the line, will stay where he is probably. Doesn't improve. P6 for him, good effort. Eggy 7th, Laser 8th. Dave will be 9th. And Bluey has found a bit of time, but will stay in P12. So it's Oren on pole, and if they finish like that in the race, they will be level on points with 7 to go. So it's the 7th pole of the season for Oren, a 7th career T2 pole by just over 2 tenths ahead of Nick, half a second ahead of Seb. Morgan splits the two RBs then. And it is a dry race. 26 laps ahead of us. Anything can happen. We did have a bit of a real-life drought of about 8 races where we didn't have a safety car. And then due to that big collision in the pit lane at Italy, we did get a VSC that turned into a safety car without actually letting us know it was a safety car. But we did have one at Monza. And it would be quite surprising if we don't have at least some sort of safety car today. You can see it right at the end of the pit lane there. Bert Mylander virtually just waiting. It's weird the game doesn't put it on the grid, but I can understand why. Should be a medium hard type of race. Maybe someone will opt for the softs at the end. But we'll wait for those ticking noises to signal us the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Shortest run down to turn 1 on the calendar. 14 drivers. Oren versus Nick off the line. It's lights out and away we go. It seems like Oren has got a good enough start to hold on to P1. Nick in P2. Morgan and Seb for P3 and P4 stay as they are in single file. Laser Gamer already up to 6 as we see 3 wide at the background. Going wide and into the wall there is the Sauber down the inside, but he backs off for now. Drifting stays where he is in 14th. Chaz has had a brilliant start once again. Quick on his feet into the top 10 already. So Laser also one of the great starters as well through the grid. They've all managed to make it through turn 3, but Laser nearly runs into the back. Well, he did run into the back as we have yellows of Eggy, unfortunately going off there at turn 3. As oh no, Laser Gamer once again involved in a collision. Don't know with who. Potentially with Dave, who's already in P6, but Carbro takes it back. And that's going to lose him a bunch of time going over that curve. The top 5 are clearing away as Christian loses the rear. Allows Josh to get up in a 9th. And Chaz already up to 8th. Great start from him. As going into the wall there, the Red Bull of Dave lets Chaz go into 7th. Can they all make it through the castle in one pit? He's close and into the wall. Laser, as he has lost a bit of his wing there. So, another comeback job for Eggy, like it was in Netherlands. Last after lap 1, still got a podium by the end. It's Oren, 7/10 clear of Nick, from Seb, from Morgan, from Josh, the top 5 within a DRS train. 2.4 to Caro, 2 seconds to Chaz, who's already gained 6 places on the opening lap. As going wide there is Dave. I believe he may have damage. So yeah, biggest gain at the moment, Chaz. Great start. The 4 behind him, also gaining places, drifting from last up to 11th. And the biggest losers at the moment, the 2 Ferraris and the Mercedes. And I'm sure drifting... EXFL's newest race winner will want to gain some ground. And Oren just leading in front of Nick as the top 5 stay as they are. Chaz has got some work to do, but Dave is already alongside the Williams. And he may have damage, but they make contact. Dave leaves Chaz just enough space. Dave may not actually have damage as they're wheel-to-wheel through turn 2. Chaz gives him the room, tries a switchback as Dave this time does hit the wall. Christian versus Josh for P8, 9 and 10. And 11 as drifting now gets himself into the top 10. Josh blasting his battery to get back in front of the Alpine as they're going to go wheel-to-wheel through turn 3. As there's a yellow and there's a crash between Chaz and Dave. And Eggy's already up to 9th. So Dave and Chaz having an incident at turn 3. And that's completely changed the whole order. So Morgan started on the softs. Josh and Laser, who pitted for hards. Everyone else on the medium. So Chaz, all that good work on done. He has wing damage, unfortunately. Bluey, 10-second for ignoring yellow flag for some reason, who's up into the points. Brakes very late and goes off. Hits the wall. We'll have to reverse. We're going to see a lot of that. As Bluey reverses now and gets back on track. As hitting the wall again. There's certainly it's going to be a wheel loss soon. As Oren's already broken the DRS. From Small Nick, who's under pressure from Seb. Morgan, also outside of a second. Josh, all over the back. So both RBs could see themselves with a pass here as they fly past the Kinks onto the start-finish straight. And Seb really got to maintain his battery, but he's going to use a bit now with the DRS to close in as Josh will try the same on Morgan. So Oren fastest lap. Seb now makes it the top 2 in the championship. Top 2 on track. Nick P3. Josh versus Morgan. Round the outside goes the RB. Brilliant move from Josh to get up into 4th. And Morgan will sit behind for now and see if he can get back in front. Drifting, who started last in this race, has cleared half the field. He's up in the 7th and in front of Christian, who's gone off there and lost a place to Eggy too. To Eggy as well, as Dave has retired. That's brought out a VSC. I can't see his dot, so I don't know what's happened there. He's in between, as Josh has also retired, but that's in the pit lane. Chaz changes his front wing. I don't actually know where that is. Maybe it was like entering the pit lane and he I don't know. Anyway, we have a VSC to slow things down. That will help all of them gain some battery back and any fuel concerns, but I can't see any yellow lights. So we've already lost 2. And they all have to make sure they don't get a drive-through when the VSC ends. It's lap 3, and if the VSC continues, does anyone try a gamble on the hards to go to the end of the race? So after 3 chaotic laps, the top 5, I guess stay how they are, but there obviously are a few swaps. Carbro still holding on to 6, drifting quite a way behind actually in 7th. He's got Eggy and Christian near him. Bluey running in the points, and Christian has got a drive-through. There's always one, unfortunately. Quickly put it. Yeah, just Christian. Laser in 11th also got caught up. Chaz in 12th. We'll see what he can do. Later on, there could still be safety cars and such. 1.6 seconds as Morgan takes back 4th away from Josh. And these two have lost quite a bit of time to the top 3. Smolnik pretty much hitting the wall there, you can hear. So what Seb has to do now, he's got barely any battery actually. He's blasting it all as Nick's in the DRS. And will he go for the move on Seb? No, he'll back out for now as lockup in front from Oren. What Seb needs to do now is work together with Nick to close in as Josh making a move at turn 3 to 4 and Bluey getting past Christian who's serving his drive-through. So not a usual place you see a swap there, but Josh is back in front. Alpine, who lead the Constructors' Championship, currently 5th and 7th. We have Christian going off there at the runoff like he did in qualifying. Don't know why turn 2 is so difficult for them, but that's allowing Chaz to gain back to the front. So yeah, like I said, Seb needs to help himself by working together with Nick to close in on Oren. Their race pace is kind of similar. But it looks like these 3 are going to be fighting for the win. Seb is closing the gap, but look how much battery he has compared to Oren. Oren not using it. And Seb now going to have to work with Nick. And maybe this time he'll put it in none when he needs to. 1.8 seconds. You can see how much time Oren's gaining just because he has more battery and Seb doesn't. So Smolnik's going to be gaining on the RB. He's got it in none as well. Not really helping Seb's case there. So look at that. It's now up to 2.2. As there it is. Seb is in none. But unfortunately, Nick is also in none, which doesn't help. If they have any chance, Nick should have blasted there and gained some ground on Oren. That's the point, the whole point of DRS swapping. As Chaz gets past Christian for P11. The 2 Ferraris currently in 9th and 10th. That's wing damage on Bluey, I believe, who's lost an end plate. You see him in the background. Yeah, he's lost his right end plate. Eggy 2.6 to drifting. Trying to close in on Carbro, who's 5 seconds off Morgan. The softs, I don't know how long they're going to last, but it was certainly not the right strategy. He's not gained any ground. Josh not got the pace at the moment. Seb still trying to fight with, as Bluey's into the pits, changes wing. Seb still trying to fight with Nick. 4P3, you hold your breath every time you go into that castle section. Hopefully the 26 times they enter it, they exit it as well with a full car intact. Seb knows these are crucial points. He knows this position at the moment is crucial. They finish like this, they're level on points, ignoring fastest lap for now. And Oren takes the lead in the championship. Seb finishes second, he still leads by 3 points with 7 rounds to go. And this time he has a run. Look how much battery he saved from that lap being behind Nick. As we have a yellow, and it's the Ferrari. Is it? No, it's Chaz, sorry. Look like Laser slowed down as Seb has got past Nick. We see this great helicopter cam, who's already clear, showing Nick how it's done, using 30% battery, 2.5 seconds to Oren though. So the next phase of his plan is, what does he do about the strategy? He's got to go for an undercut if he wants to gain some ground on Oren and make sure he doesn't let him out of his sights, because this is pretty much becoming the norm now. Seb is close to Oren, but then he's got other people with him, or he just doesn't manage his battery enough, and he's letting Oren go away this time. Not drastically, but we have a yellow again, and it is the castle section this time, as Christian has gone off. And that's also going to be a thing. Debris, safety cars, how much longer you want to take your tyres. And if you pit early, you risk the chance of someone making a mistake. So Chaz back into the points. 15 seconds behind Laser. Eggy keeping this same gap to Drifting. And Drifting actually not really implementing a big gain to Carbro. So Carbro showing pretty good pace actually. As Chaz gets a speeding pen. And yeah, no surprise there as Drifting gaining a few tenths. Carbro keeping the gap same to Morgan, who's definitely dropping off the pace because of his softs wearing out. Then there were 11, so that promotes Bluey back into the points. Christian will probably gain on him. They've lost 3 tenths, have Seb and Nick to Oren. A sliding out there as Nick puts into hot lap. Seb in medium. And surely the first of these lot to pit will be Morgan. So 3 seconds now between Oren and Seb. Nick. Again, he's not really using his battery wisely, because now Seb's going to have to back off for Nick to come back on the racing line. It's just going to lose them time. As, yeah, into the pits after only 7 laps is Morgan. So he's going to trigger the undercut. Pit lane, hard compound tyres going on. We have a yellow, and that's the McLaren of Christian getting lapped by Oren. So I don't know if he slowed down or he hit the wall. He's lost his end plate. So we've had one VSC that didn't really change much. And Christian's just got to get out of the way of Nick and Seb as well, about to lap him. Which he's not doing at the moment. So Oren, 3.1 second gap. Sliding through the castle section, and we'll see how Nick takes it, considering there is a car in front of him, and that is a safety car. No, it's a VSC, even though we can clearly see there's a yellow dot in the pit lane, so it's a safety car, not a VSC. And yeah, when you have a lap car in front of you, I don't know what, obviously Christian's on his wheel, but for the first time, and that has caused a safety car. So already 6 laps in, there are 4 gone. Obviously, we've had crazier races in Baku before where there have been so many retirements, but at the moment, everyone's going to score points, including Bluey again. But that is a safety car, and that kind of takes the element out of it, and that is going to be devastating for Morgan, who pitted for hards 1 lap too early because he started on soft. So all these guys are just going to come into the pit lane for hard compound tyres, go to the end. And one by one, they're going to follow. I mean, Josh can stack. It's not like he has to back off that much. He's got 9 seconds to the next car. It doesn't matter. So into the pit lane. Oren puts the hard compound tyres on. Then Nick. Then Seb. No one deciding to stay out, do something different. So this will help Drifting as well. Get him right back into the fight. As Morgan exits the pit lane, can he at least reclaim 5th? It looks like he will. Whoa, losing it there does the Alpine. And Carbro does get in front because Morgan made a big mistake on the exit there. And he has damage, does Morgan. He's lost his right end plate. He was pushing to try and make sure he didn't lose any ground from that pit stop. He pushed a bit too hard, and he's paid the price because of it. Oh, into the wall there behind is Eggy as well. I do not know why turn 2 is proving to be such an issue, but Eggy as well has wing damage. So Lucas all over the back of the Mercedes there. Will probably gain a free place. Bluey's a minute behind, but he's not lapped. And Drifting gets past Morgan, who's... Oh, Morgan's gone off there. I mean, this is the worst it gets, mate. There's no red flags. So Morgan, unfortunately, a bad race gets worse, but he can pit. Maybe this lap for mediums, maybe the lap after for hards, but he's got to be quick about it. Considering they have to wait for Bluey, might be his only chance. He's just got to make sure he gets back with that wing damage, especially heading through here. Which is taken nice. Nick says he's glad ghosting's on, obviously, because that could have been a monumental crash with Nick and probably even Seb as well. At the castle, someone was bound to do it, and it's happened. Always looks like they're going wide there, but that's just the nature of how the corner looks. I swear it didn't look like that a couple games back, but anyway. Eggy looks like he's going to have to pit. Morgan as well. Bluey still 80 seconds off the next car. So this time round, it's imperative, at least for Seb's sake, that Nick sticks with Oren and he sticks with them. And he's just got to make sure he makes as many overtakes as possible on Oren to make sure he doesn't get away. Make sure, track position-wise, he is in front. And then right at the end, you'll see Eggy in, Morgan in. They shouldn't lose any places compared to where they are. Lasers up to 7th now. Eggy for softs. Morgan, mediums. So for their sake, they'll hope the safety car stays out for another lap. And Oren, like he has so many times since pretty much Imola, he's probably led the most laps this season, actually. Number 95 in front of number 95. They both have the same number. And Seb, I believe he has something like, I don't even know. 71. Josh Hewitt, 20 something, I think. 30 something, I don't know, I can't see it. 32. Kind of miss when this car had the number on the halo. Oh, it does have the number on the halo, it's really small. Right, the top 7 have all bunched up. Eggy and Morgan will catch the field. Bluey at the moment still won't. So that allows them to probably pit again. It'll be close to see if they actually come out the pit lane still in front or not. Lasers on 7 lap-old hards. I mean, what can you do? You only have about... I think you only have one set. So he pitted on lap 2 because he was in an incident. Anyway, who's been a star driver so far this race? Carbro's been doing pretty well. He's now into the top 5, promoted because Morgan made a mistake. So a top 5 finish for Carbro would be great. He said last week, what's the next track? I said Baku. He said, I will be there, as he's nearly alongside Josh there. It shouldn't be in this lap because Bluey's not caught. So that does help Eggy and Morgan pit again if they need to. They're not doing 17 laps on those tyres. Bluey, their saviour at the moment. So he'll be out for one more lap. He'll be in this time next lap. There's Eggy trying to get into the pit lane. Morgan's continuing on then. So Morgan looks like he... Oh. Laser and drifting having a bit of a moment there. They remain in the positions they were. So Eggy puts back on the 1 lap old hards he's got. So that's fine. So the only difference is... Morgan is on medium. So obviously, again, like the start, on the softs, he's going to hope to gain some good ground on better tyres. Which you'll need to. As the usual, one time in the race it kicks me out my party. Back in it. So yeah, Morgan's going to have to gain some ground. He can probably get laser. Drifting will let him go. Carbro, I think he probably has the pace. But after getting those 3, he might get Josh as well. You never know how the restart will go. But the top 3, looks like they've got the pace over him. But on the mediums, you never know. But definitely towards the end, his tyres are going to certainly give out. And if RB cannot have the restart they had in Italy, where they both nearly took each other out into turn 1, that would be good. Obviously, this turn 1 is much different because it's a really short rundown. It depends where when Oren goes. And yeah, you are driving good here, Josh. P4 at the moment. He obviously got 10th disqualified, but technically there was 10 only, so he got a point in Netherlands, and then he got 6th in Italy. So at the moment he's running 4th, and bit by bit, he is helping Seb in the constructors' standings to gain on Alpine, who are not having the greatest race, as well as Oren. I mean, he's a one-man show at the moment. Nathan not racing today. So Aston and RB also trying to close in on Alpine. There is a bit of a gap, like 40, 50 points, but you never know. All three teams fighting. Safety car is in this lap then. And this time round, Oren, if you can see where the safety car goes into the pits this time, not speed up and slow down, and jeopardize your race post-race of a penalty, that would be great. Hopefully he's learned, and as one Aston peels off into the pit lane, another is going to lead the restart. Single file, probably going to start some weaving. There are 10 drivers left, all getting points. Let's see if hopefully, with 16 laps to go, they can all make it to the end. Oren has just got to do what he's been doing. Going at a constant speed of 140 mile an hour-ish. As the safety car's in, and looks like there's already some swaps there. Trying to get the jump as Carborough's already overtaken a bunch of cars before the line. Going to have to give them back into turn 1 then. Let's see who... There's 3 wide heading into turn 1, and Eggy just about survives getting put in the wall there. So Carborough stays in 5th, Eggy up to 6th, drifting 7th, Laser 8th. Morgan watching this unfold as Laser loses the rear there. Bluey at the back as close to contact. 3 wide again. Carborough past Josh Hewitt, and Eggy also 3 wide. Will it go into turn 3? Who's going to back out? Carborough does. Josh versus Eggy into turn 3. Josh positions his car perfectly to get back in a 4th. The top 3 are gone. And Eggy versus Carborough into turn 4. Still a bit of wheel banging, but it's all good, hard racing. So Eggy in front of Drifting. But how much longer is Drifting? Hits the wall. And unfortunately, he's tried to spy a gap, but he's out of the race. That hasn't caused anything, because typically, as Morgan's dropped by... Oh, a disaster for Alpine. As that's another safety car, Morgan in the wall. Don't know how tactical that was. But to be fair, that probably did deserve another safety car because of Drifting's crash. It's so annoying when you hit those little walls that stick out and it just takes your tyre off without taking the front wing off. Oh, Drifting, EXFL's newest race winner, is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Tried a move, not really where you go for one, but still, he tried a move on Eggy, all was fair and good, but he just got caught on the wall, unfortunately, and is out of the race. Alpine having an absolute disaster at the moment. But at the moment, Pluie is in 7th. And then there were 9. Eggy was 7th. I think he gained a place on obviously Drifting. Laser, I think he may have stayed where he is. Now, does anyone pit? Does anyone try anything off the menu on in terms of gambles? Nope. We'll just help them take their hards even longer. Laser will come into the pit lane. Morgan, I don't know what he's doing at this rate. That turn 1, bit infamous for what he did to a certain someone. Me. But I swear he has damage. No, he doesn't have damage. He was in the wall. I don't know if he got collected with someone or what, but I'll have to look at that back. So, Oren, I guess he won't mind this. Just more laps under the safety car. Carborough and Josh having a conversation there. It was close between them. 3 wide between the lot. It was wise of, I think, Eggy to back out. And Josh positioned his car perfectly into turn 3 to stay in front. And just hold on. The top 3 were away. And for Seb's sake, he might not mind this. You know, more laps, less laps for Oren to potentially pull away. I'm pretty sure, I'd say about 80% of the races this in Tier 2 get decided on penalties, maybe. Okay, maybe that's about high. 70, 60-ish. This is not one of them. This is just going to be about who survives, really. And you never know. Even drivers as good as Oren, Nick, Seb could make a small mistake at any normal track like Monza, for example, get away with it because there's off-road. Speaking of off-road, I believe that was Bluey going off there. But yeah, it would cost you big time at a track like this. And Laser on the mediums. Not actually a bad shout now because we're approaching half race distance. That's so unfortunate for drifting. But it is now a big opportunity for Aston and RB to gain some serious points on Alpine. Quickly have a look. Alpine lead on 293 points. They are 52 points ahead of RB. So RB scoring 27 to Alpine's 4. We're getting 23 on them. It's going off there. That's Seb trying to avoid Nick there. I don't know why they don't just put it in AI. But yeah, 23 points gained on the 52 would bring it down to only 30 points between RB and Alpine. And it's kind of thanks to Josh, really. Because he's obviously helping getting those points on the board. As well as obviously Seb's done about 95% of the work. But as well as RB, Aston as well gaining 25 points on Alpine's 4. So 21. Aston currently 54 behind. So 21, 54, 33. So yeah, they finish like this. The top 3 teams all separated within 33 points. And yeah, game on in both championships, really. Because we have one Aston, one RB, and I guess you could still consider one Alpine in the fight. But after a race like this, again, Morgan's just falling out of it, making a 3-man battle for the championship. And it's becoming a duel between Oren and Seb. Seb, who's seeing his lead go down more and more and more. And then he gets these sparks of hope, like Hungary first when Oren's 6th. Italy, where he's 2nd and Oren's 3rd. He's just got to keep hoping and just dig deep within himself to find the time, beat Oren, because he knows Oren is going to probably soon take the championship lead. But you never know. This is EXFL Tier 2. We're halfway through the race only, and anything could happen still. We've had 2 safety cars. That's more than the last 9 races put together. So that's something. Anyway, it will be in this lap, I believe. Oren's got to conduct another restart. He conducted the first one, all right. I didn't really see any issues with it. So he's just got to do that again. He went kind of early compared to when I thought he would go. Anyway, safety car peeling off. Oren keeping a constant speed, 80 mile an hour. Who will try and get a jump? Will Seb risk blasting all his battery to try and get ahead of Nick and keep with Oren? Oren's speeding up slowly. And it looks like he's going to go. Approaching full throttle now. The safety car is just about into the pits. Hopefully it doesn't slow Oren down. And we can get the restart back underway. And Small Nick is all over the back of Oren into turn 1. Can Small Nick take the lead in front of the Aston Martin? They're going to go wheel to wheel. Seb enjoying this a lot as through single file come the rest. And looks like Oren just holds on to the lead. Small Nick, great attempt at trying to take the lead. But at the moment he has to stay behind. And Oren and Nick pretty much similar battery levels. That was a really good reaction from Nick to stick with the Aston, but for now he's literally just got to stick with the Aston until the DRS comes for the next lap. And Laser versus Morgan, 4P8. Morgan with the switchback round the outside of the Ferrari driver who brakes late into turn 4, and Morgan has to stay behind for now. So there are 9 remaining, all in single file. That means a bit less chaos, but they're coming up to the back of Bluey. Are Laser and Morgan, and this is going to get a bit fruitful. Down the inside, Josh has been unfortunately spun by Carbro, and Eggy gets through the pair of them. And I believe that probably was Carbro's fault, as they all managed to make it through the castle. So unfortunate for Josh Hewitt. RB, who had a big chance of some big points. As look at that, Smolnik's already outside of a second from Oren. 1.2 now. Eggy up to 4th again. Carbro, who went for the inside on the RB. Josh turned in. Scott spun round. And, into the wall there. Bluey and Morgan. Another incident. And it gets bad to worse as Laser up to 6th. Josh back up into 7th then. And again, these two fighting for 6th like they did in Italy. Seb pulls out then with blasting all his battery. and into P2, but you can see Oren 1.3 in front. Seb cannot afford to let him get away. And Eggy versus Carbro into turn 1. Carbro with 7%, Eggy with 40%. Lets him go for now. And Laser just in front of Josh. So the field already quite separated, and unfortunately that's probably damage for the RB of Josh. And he's still got his end plates, but you never know how bad it actually is. And Bluey versus Morgan. Morgan to the inside. Zeggy gets back in front of Carbro. And Morgan does get in front of Bluey. 1.4 seconds. Seb, who's been leading the World Championship every race of this season, has been driving brilliantly like a champion. He needs to make sure these last 8 are the best 8 he does. As Oren didn't get a great exit there. You can see Seb gained just over a 10th. And he's just got to dig deep within himself. It's where he got his first win in EXFL here 2 years ago. And if you can get a second win, that would be glorious. As he's 3/4 of a second in front of Nick. But Oren just seems to have more pace, more battery. Seb trying everything. So Eggy in front of Carbro. Laser also catching these lots. Josh has dropped off a little bit. So Laser on the mediums is helping him gain some ground. It's been a chaotic and full of carnage race. Right up close to the wall is Morgan. 2 seconds the gap then between Oren and Seb, who's blasted all his battery. Nick really needs to start blasting his so they can keep swapping. But he's in none. It's just not effective. He's in none. They're going to go wheel to wheel into turn 1. He's on a wrong line as Carbro gets in front of Eggy. And it's just going to lose them time. 2/10 more. Into the pit lane. Josh Hewitt. Hopefully it will only be for a tyre change and not retirement. I'll promote Morgan in front. And Bluey as well. So Josh will put the mediums on, I believe. Or is that the soft? That's the softs for 10 laps. Look at that, already 3 seconds now as Nick got back in front of Seb. Nick with a full battery. It's kind of painful to watch how poor some of the swapping is. And there even more. Nick makes a big mistake, and that's lost them even more time. I don't think he has damage, but that has lost them a few more tenths. Heading into the castle section. Looks like Nick is struggling. Look how close they're getting to the wall to try and find some time. And look how much he took out of that. 2/10. Because that was a really good castle he executed there. Gained 4/10. So if Nick has the pace to close down Oren, as he is doing. Look at that. He's gained so much time. That's 8/10 he's gained in around... Eggy versus Carbro. Going off there. Don't know what happened there. As... three-way fight for 4th. Yeah, Smolnik taking 8/10 out of Oren from that castle section to now. And, Seb has saved a lot of battery behind. What Seb needs to do, put it in overtake. Gain up to the back of Smolnik. Fly past. Probably you want to do it before you start the next lap. Don't be wheel to wheel like that. And don't take a line like that. Like Carbro. Carbro has just executed it perfectly. He's in front of Eggy and down the inside. Laser also trying to have a move. Barely leaves Eggy any room. But Eggy does decide to back out. Brave on the brakes. Is the Ferrari up in the 5th now. And Eggy, he could have stuck it and probably gone in the wall. Which would definitely have been Laser's fault. But he backed out. So, I don't know. Carbro is probably seeing himself a penalty at the end of this. But, Smolnik on 100%. Seb on 50%. Oren on 60%. So Morgan scoring 6 points for Alpine at the moment. RB scoring 20. And Aston scoring 25. Look how quick Oren goes through the castle section there. Got so much confidence as Seb 3.5 behind Oren now. 10 to go then. And at the moment, it's imperative for Seb that he finishes in front of Nick. Every point matters as Laser is up into 4th place now in front of Carbro. You don't really see many overtakes on the exit of the castle there, but Laser is in P4. Really proven to be a solid up the ranks kind of driver. His best ever career finishing position, P5 in Well, it was a recent race. I forgot which one it was. But he's under pressure from Carbro. You don't go for moves there. You wait until the straight. But yeah, Laser, P4 would be a brilliant result. He keeps saying, I'm going to get a podium in Vegas. Well, we're not a million miles away from that. And it's looking better and better for him. As Smolnik gets past Seb into turn 1. And Carbro gets past Laser before they get to turn 1. Laser obviously on those mediums helping him. Don't know how great they'll be towards the end. And now the gap is nearly 5 seconds between Seb and... Whoa. I heard something hit the wall. Yeah, the gap's 5 seconds between Nick and Seb as Laser gets back in front of Carbro. Low battery for the pair of them. Eggy's got plenty. Bluey at the moment, minimum. He's going to get 2 points for P9, which would be his career best equaling position, because I believe he's finished 10th like 4 times. But yeah, Josh will close up to him. He's actually caught him at a pretty bad part of the track. So where will he try and go for a move? As Carbro and Laser wheel to wheel through the castle section. And somehow they've managed to keep all 4 wheels on their wagons. Eventually Carbro backed off. But amazingly, they didn't crash. And Laser stays in front of Carbro. As we have a yellow, Morgan, unfortunately, has lost it there. Not moving. Has caused a VSC. That might be the second time he's caused something. Really not enjoying himself in Baku. And that is a VSC. And I don't really know who could box under that. Morgan back in front of Bluey now. Josh back in front of 7th. There are only 9 laps to go. And the top 3 don't decide to do anything about that. This does help them save some battery though. As Morgan's gone off there. Lost his front wing. Still a VSC, mate. And we have, what, 8 laps to go? We've lost Dave and Josh, who were tied in the pit lane-ish early on. And then we lost Chaz, who gave up. Christian, who crashed at the castle section, bringing out the first safety car. Then we lost Drifting, unfortunately, through no fault of his own. Also, well, he hit the wall slightly and lost a wheel. And I think Morgan also helped cause the safety car because he also was in the wall 2 corners later. So Morgan could at least try and go for fastest lap here. Put the soft compound tyres on. DRS enabled. That means the VSC is over. No one's got a drive through. We do have a yellow though. That was Bluey going a little slowly there. I don't know if Morgan had a penalty to serve or not. That was just a really long stop. Obviously had a wing to change. And that 4.5 whatever gap has now gone down to 3.4 between Oren and Small Nick. That's a big chunk of the gap gone. But it's still well over 3 seconds. As Carbro and Laser, it's still really unorthodox places to be swapping. But they're swapping, so it is what it is. Yeah, Morgan will try to go for fastest lap. Oren, still in Dreamland at the moment, out on his own, like he has been for about 10, 11 races. We see in the background, Seb gaining. Also not really doing his part. You don't want to be wheel to wheel. I don't know how many more times I have to say it. You don't want to be wheel to wheel heading into turn 1. You want to get the move done when you probably cross the start-finish straight. Like that. As Laser gets in front of Carbro. They're now 10 seconds off these guys. It was 6 before the VSC. But yeah, these two are having a pretty good battle. Piastri and Leclerc kind of battle. Laser gaining in the slipstream. Carbro gaining in the slipstream on Laser, who moves to the right. Carbro gets in front, goes into turn 3 a bit deep. Oh, he has wing damage, that's why. As Laser looking for a switchback and gets back in front. Damage or not, it's a good battle between these lot. And Heggie, with a full battery and probably popcorn, is just watching this. Heading towards the castle. 3.8 seconds now. That's really close to the wall between Nick. Yeah, Nick, really. Look at that. He's out of a second because he made a mistake. Brushed the wall there. And now he's going to have to blast some battery to get back within a second. This is really not helping Seb's cause. But for his sake, he might actually just keep Nick out of a second because he knows he probably might not catch Oren. The gap is so close. And the detection point is where Oren is about to head through now. So the gap is just under a second. It's going to be close though. And Nick should just get it. But look how much battery he's had to use because of that. Yeah, big mistake from Nick. Has cost them a lot. As they're swapping again. Laser versus Carbro for P4. They're wheel to wheel. And they make a slight contact, do they? As Carbro gets back in front of the Ferrari. Eggy just watching this. Just playing his cards right. And we'll see what Morgan can do. Fastest lap still goes to Oren by... Oh, great. Yeah, Morgan's gone off there. Exiting the castle. Try and spin around. Yeah, Oren's fastest lap is crazy. And yeah, it's back up to 5 seconds then. Nick right on the back of Seb, who may have made a mistake because he's lost a bit of time. 6 laps to go then. And if there was a safety car, they'd all probably pit for softs. And Seb would, I guess, have a chance at getting Oren. But, oh, Carbro has lost it there a bit. And he's lost a place to Eggy as well. So, Laser stays in 4th. Eggy now up to 5th. Carbro may have made a mistake or had something with Laser. Josh a bit on his own in 7th. Bluey is going to be at 4 points, which is going to equal, actually, his career total of 4 P10s, 4 points. He's going to get P8 with 4 points to pretty much double it, as Morgan, unfortunately, will only get 2 points for Alpine. Laser saying, work with me on this one with Carbro. But as Smolnik and Seb swap again, these two are going to go right to the end with 5 to go. Smolnik loses the rear, and that's going to allow Seb, who's slowing down a bit, as Eggy's now in front of Laser. So Eggy bided his time into P4, and now Carbro is trying to get in front of Laser, who's later on the brakes and goes wide and off. And yeah, that was way too opportunistic. As we have a yellow. Wait, we have many yellows. Josh has also gone off and hit the wall there as well. So Morgan's gone off. He's lapped. Josh has lost a bit of damage. Laser, absolutely ridiculous send. Went off. Nearly took Carbro with him. Just about avoided it. And now they're all pretty spaced out. Over a second between the lot. As Josh Hewitt has unfortunately retired. I don't know where his dot has gone. Again, that'll help Morgan up to 8th. Josh could have scored some good points there. Of 6 for RB. Disappointing. But that promotes Blue. Wow. We do actually get someone with a time penalty. It's not going to really... Well, it helps Laser. And Carbro could probably get a penalty after this race for hitting Josh. Maybe. But that promotes Bluey up into 7th now. Crazy. 8 seconds the gap now. Oren to Nick with 5 to go. Morgan giving Nick DRS, I think, there. And, yeah, Seb needs to make sure if he can't go for the win, he needs to beat Nick to keep hold of his championship lead. Otherwise, they're going to be level on points. And Oren will take it back and reclaim his 7th win. Nick with DRS this time. And Eggy just, again, he was last at the end of lap 1. And again, he finds himself in a P4 position. And if anything happens at the top 3, you never know. But yeah, he's one to come through the field quite cleanly. As Laser and Carbro are going to have another fight. It's clear Laser's going to get 5th at this rate. Because Carbro obviously has that penalty. Only got 4 to go then, and Bluey is set for a great P7 finish. Obviously, there are a lot of retirements, but still, he's kept it all on the road. And Morgan's been lapped by Seb and Nick. I believe this is the last lap where a potential safety car could happen. As soon as Orange starts and crosses that line, it won't happen. So yeah, we've had 2 safety cars. I think one was a VSC at first. So 2 safety cars, 1 VSC. We've lost Dave the Slave and Josh, who retired on the same lap. I think one in the pit lane, one entering the pit lane. Whoa. Was that a car? Oh, I don't know. We lost Chaz, who gave up in the pit lane. Christian, who crashed in the castle section. Drifting, who crashed on like a wall that stuck out. And he lost his tyre. Josh gave up in the pit lane a few moments ago. Oren begins lap 24. We have a yellow and Morgan's out as soon as Oren crosses the line. As Laser gets past. Oh, there's a collision there between Laser and Carbro. And they're both trying to get DRS. So Morgan's out. Won't change anything. And then there were, well, we've lost half of them. So Bluey will be 7th. Laser will be 5th because Carbro will have a penalty. Eggy will be 4th. And Seb has to make sure he gets Nick on the last couple laps. Because it looks like Oren's certainly going to get the win. And there would be no chance of a safety car. So that's it for Morgan. He's out. No points for Alpine. So Aston will gain 25 on them. And RB will gain either 15 or 18 on them. Sliding out there, another corner that Nick has been struggling with. Wheel to wheel between Laser and Carbro. Laser gives just enough space for them not to connect into the wall there. And Carbro, a bit late on the brakes, hits the back of Laser. It's a fight for the ages. Carbro coming up close to that wall that Drifting crashed at. Avoids it this time round. And they're so close to trying to have an overtake into a bit of an unorthodox place, but these two have been finding every corner to get past one another. Oren about to begin the penultimate lap. It's into the castle section. They're just about avoiding the wall. Well, they are hitting it, but getting away with it. I'm sure Bluey will be loving this. His best ever race in P7. Because he's just survived. These two fighting for 5th. Eggy a bit on his own in 4th. These two fighting for 2nd. I'll tell you what, though. Seb may have just been left by Nick. He's not got the DRS. He's got barely any battery. And Nick is, well, he was a second ahead. So Nick going to cause some real turmoil between the top two. And make Seb lose 3 more points. Seb has got the DRS back. And he's got to really make sure he gains on Nick here. Oren has not put a foot wrong. Really? Okay, he's put 1 foot wrong. With a little slide out the exit of turn 4. But at the moment, he is controlling the pace. The class of the field at the moment is Carbro and Laser swap. At the exit of turn 1 into 2. And Seb is just trying to stick with Seb's just trying to stick with Nick at this rate. 8 tenths now. 10-second gap between Oren to Nick. The crowd willing the Aston Martin on, who, if he didn't do that restart in Italy, today could have been a historic day. He could have equalled the record and got his 8th win, but he did unfortunately get the penalty. So it will be reclaiming his 7th victory, this time next lap. And it's close between Nick and Seb again as Laser gets past Carbro. So Seb's got the battery back. He's back with the Williams, and what do they do? Because this is one of those where it can be right up to the line. You could overtake. Does Seb want to get past here now? Obviously, for them, it's heading into the last lap now. Oren crosses the line to start lap 26. Does Seb try it now? And will Nick try it in 1 lap's time across the line? Seb in none, so it looks like he's going to stay behind and get him across the line. But he's still gaining even in none, so he backs off to save some battery. And yeah, Seb's playing the gamble then. Instead of track position, blasting your battery to stay in front, he's going to hope that he can gain the momentum and get past Nick. It's close between Laser and Carbro for P5. Carbro pretty much pushing the Ferrari. You can see sparks emerging because of it. Now he pulls out to the right, gets in front of the Ferrari. And I'm pretty sure he could have gapped him, but obviously he has that damage. And look, both of them on 100% battery. They know what's coming. And this is a crucial 3-point swing because this will determine who leads the World Championship heading into Singapore in 1 week. If they finish like this, Oren will be the new championship leader. They will be level on points. But if Seb can get back in front of Nick, he can hold on to the championship lead by 3 points in front of Oren. The crowd willing them on the final lap of the race. Nick goes wide there and uses a bit of battery. Seb needs to make sure he is as close as possible and uses the DRS to get Nick across the line. It's going to be a photo finish. But out in front, Oren, once again, has controlled the race beautifully. He's made his way round the streets of Baku, and he's going to reclaim what he lost 1 week ago. Oren, 7 days later, it's the 7th victory he wants. Back for him. Across the line, as Laser gets a penalty, Oren wins. The small Nick is out of the race. After 26 laps, the 2nd race in a row, Nick is out, and that's going to promote Eggy into the podium. Nick has crashed somehow, as Seb slows down, so he will still hold on to the championship lead. Drama on the last lap. Oren wins for the 7th time in EXFL Tier 2. And Eggy is going to get his podium again that he also lost in Italy. Crazy scenes. Eggy back on the podium. Don't know what happened to Nick. Bluey is going to get 6th. Carbro will probably get 5th. Laser will probably get 4th. Probably after the race, but at the moment, Carbro, it's P4 for him. Laser, P5, and Bluey is going to get 6th. What happened to Nick? 2nd race in a row. He has crashed, and this one's probably even more painful. Did all that work to crash 1 corner before the end. As a fastest lap. Oh, wait, no, of course they won't be level on points anyway if Seb got 3rd, because Oren, well, he had the fastest lap, didn't he? But yeah, wow, Bluey's going to overtake Smolnik's car, and Bluey is going to come home to make it P6. 8 points, which is going to triple his points margin. Bluey, P6, survived. But it's Oren's day to bring the gap from 10 points to just 2. Seb, still the championship leader by 2 points in front of Oren. What on earth happened to Nick? Oh, he binned it. Nick binned it. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I mean, Seb will be kind of remorseful, but also kind of happy because you never know if Seb could have got it. We were waiting until that last lap to see if Seb could get past him on the line. It could have been a photo finish. But it's Oren and Seb, the top 2, finishing in the top 2 places. Eggy joins them on the podium. It's another podium for the Mercedes driver. And yeah, with 7 races to go, only 2 points separate Oren and Seb. And yeah, Oren is only 1 win away now from equaling the all-time record of 8 wins set by the Season 5 and Season 8 champion of Thies and Logan. And he could well surpass that by the time we come to Abu Dhabi. Collision with Carbro, collision with Carbro, collision with Carbro, collision with Carbro. Well, next up is Singapore, and that should hopefully be a little less chaotic, but still, crazy scenes. But out of it all, Oren and Seb, 1 and 2. And my guess is, yeah, Nick put the battery on through the kinks, which is something you don't really want to do on really old tyres. And that's so unfortunate for Nick. Because I'm not going to lie, he probably would have kept P2. It is difficult. I didn't really think Seb took Nick out because it's just not like him, or as well as it just seemed really weird. As soon as Oren crosses the line, Nick's out and Lucas gets the time pen. It was all a bit kind of rushed. Anyway, we'll get the top 3 in. Right, at the moment we have P3 in the party. Still awaiting Seb and Oren. There we go, there's Seb. Still awaiting Oren. But for now, we will begin in opposite order for the podium. Eggy, are you there, mate?
Yes.
Hello. Have you included your audio?
Yes.
Alright. Wow, what another crazy race where you see yourself last after the first lap and you've come to get a podium at the end. You qualified 7th, 8th? Did you qualify?
I don't remember. Something like that, 7/8, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So what happened at the start? I mean, so much happened in that race. So yeah, what happened to you? Why were you last?
Yeah, just a mistake once again. I mean, this really
From
needs
your
to
end,
stop,
or
but yeah.
ah, okay. But anyway, you managed to come back through the field again. I think by lap 2 or 3, you were already back up to where you started, due to all the chaos. And then you kind of just settled in, 7th, 6th ish. 2 safety cars go by, and then you find yourself in the fight between Lucas, Carbo, and yourself for 4th. You get past the pair of them because you kept out of trouble and struck when they made a mistake. Yeah, what was like the game plan throughout that?
Well, I mean, I was really unsure if I can come back at this race, but I think the key point was the restart because I kept a kind of distance, and Oren was waiting a long time, and at some point he had to go, and I was coming, with a lot of speed, and all the others were still slowing down, so I overtook a lot of cars there. So that was the point where I was kind of back, and yeah, then I just tried to settle for a 4th, obviously, and yeah, and I got 3rd in the end.
Yeah, obviously, Nick crashing on the last lap promoted you back to the podium. So both yourself and Oren, after Oren losing the win last week and you losing your podium last week,
Yeah.
you've both got it back this time. So yeah, recently you've been on very consistent and great form, very consistent 4ths and 3rds. You never know how crazy a tier 2 race could get to potentially maybe get a win, but for now it's the best form you've been in since you started racing in this league. Did you enjoy yourself out there? Obviously it was very chaotic, but obviously 14th to 3rd, 14th after the first lap to be 3rd by the end has got to be a pretty solid race for you.
Yeah.
So well done. That Ashley, because Drifting retired, and you got 15 points. Just quickly see how close you are to him. That puts you on 106 points, so you're only nine points behind Drifting now for 4th in the standings. So very well done, and helping Mercedes climb up the order as well.
Thank you.
So very well done. And moving on to, I believe Oren's still not here, is he? No. Quickly invite him again. But anyway, moving on to our P2 finisher. Seb, are you there, mate?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you included your audio?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Right. There's Oren. Right, Seb, you qualified 2nd, right? 3rd, right. Oh yeah, of course, Nick. Right, so yeah, it was P3 for you. You were trying to fight Nick or race as Oren, unfortunately for you, pulled away. And there was a case of you weren't going to catch Oren, so you had to just settle for 2nd, fight Nick, DRS and battery games. But then it all got a bit anticlimactic at the end. Was the plan always to try and get Nick across the line on the last lap?
I felt like I was quicker than him in a straight, plus DRS and slipstream, plus I had full battery, basically.
So because you were pretty much the only one who saw it, what exactly happened with Nick?
So we both exit the final corner. We both start burning. I know both of us had 100% because of how slow we were going in the first the first 3 corners. Now, going through the first corner, that seems all right, and then he kind of misses the apex for the second one, and then he's in the wall. I don't know how I avoided it, in all honesty.
I was gonna say he hit that big like glitchy wall where it explodes your car, doesn't it? How close were you to hitting it?
I'll get the clip up.
We need to see this clip
because I don't think.
Wow.
I think I ran over his pieces of front wing, 100%.
I literally thought you took him out.
No, I was about 3/10 back. I didn't actually
Yeah.
think
No.
I don't actually know if I could have gone across the line. To be fair.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If I was in your position, I would have overtook on the last lap and then blasted everything, and I probably would have stayed ahead because the thing I noticed between
Oh
you
no!
two,
It hits the
you two,
inside wall.
that made more sense. Yeah, turned in too early, hit the wall, bounced
Yeah.
him into the wall on the left.
Mi-
No, the thing
yeah,
I noticed
bounce
between
into the
you two,
circle
you
and then
always got the
bang.
moves done. You know the break boards heading into turn one.
Yeah.
You always got the moves done around there instead
Right,
of
no,
the start
no.
finish straight.
Right. I got my moves done
So
early for the
yeah,
most part, and then he
Nick,
started doing it
whenever
even
Nick,
later. And then I was like, you know what?
whenever
Fuck you,
Nick
I'm doing it
overtook you,
later.
he was. Whenever Nick overtook you, he was in none. It was, excuse my French, but it was probably one of the worst displays of DRS swapping to gain on the leader I've seen.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I mean,
Nick was in none,
no
so it
offense to
didn't gain
Nick.
him
I
much.
knew Nick was going to be like decently quick, but when I found out that he was losing, like Oren would just gain the gap within
Yeah.
a lap, I'm like, no offense, but I think I could have done better.
You want to be single file heading into turn one. You don't want to be one
Yeah, that's what
tight
I
to the
was
inside.
doing. That
Yeah, I know.
I
But I
got
kept
the
seeing the
moves
gap go
on
2
really
seconds
early
to
use my
2.4.
literally DRS open. I'm basically past.
Nick had a great restart though on I think the second one. He challenged Oren into turn one,
Turn
but
one,
just couldn't
turn
get the
two,
move done.
and then Oren pulled a second gap by the end of the lap.
Yeah, and then Nick made a big mistake just before the castle, hitting the wall, which lost you time. And then, actually, on the penultimate or third last lap, you nearly lost DRS. Or you did lose DRS.
Yeah, I did lose DRS, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, after somebody started getting angry that I wasn't conserving ERS around a certain track,
Yep.
I changed.
You finally put it in
I
none for
changed
once.
my controller settings, so now I don't have to use my D-pad to put into none. I use my right analog stick.
Alright, good.
So
When I saw you in none for the first time on like lap 3 or something, I was like, finally, he's learned.
I was in none for about fucking half the race.
Yeah.
Thank you very
No,
much.
it's weird because when you lost DRS, you were pretty low on battery, and then it was pretty cool. You got back within, but you saved a bunch.
I don't.
So
I
that was
don't think
good.
that. I think you might be seeing stuff wrong because I was on a bunch and I was on none, and then. Yeah, I think you just made mistakes that let me catch back up as well.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Nick. But crucially, you have finished in front. You have finished second. So 15 rounds in, and you still remain by 2 points the championship leader. Oren has closed the gap.
Change next week. I can tell you this for sure.
It's Singapore. You never know. What could happen.
Oren's good around Singapore unless he stacks it. Oren, you're gonna stack it into a wall.
Thank you.
Right, again, it's Singapore. You never know. But anyway, well done on another podium.
If he doesn't by will, I'm gonna force him in all.
Ooh.
You heard it first. Tim.
So because no Alpine scored points, by the way, I mean I don't know why Josh retired. He could have given you the team 6 more points, but anyway, RB 52 points behind, closes it down to so RB are only 34 points behind Alpine now, but Aston have re-overtaken RB because it was only you and Oren. So Aston are 5 points in front of RB, meaning they are 29 points behind Alpine. So it's game on in both championships.
Hang on a minute. Hang on.
What?
Where the fuck have they come from?
What do you mean?
I'm gonna have a word with my teammate.
You do realise if Josh had finished the race today, RB would still be in front of Aston by, I think, 1 or 2 points. And every point matters with this battle. So yeah, tell Josh not to give up in future. Because it was looking good until Carbo kind of whacked him before the castle. Anyway, well done Seb on another podium and just still hanging on to the lead bit by bit. Anyway, moving on. Oren, have you included your audio, mate?
Yeah.
For the 7th time, hopefully he's going to keep this one. You have won the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, another commanding performance. This time it was a bit unorthodox. You had to lead 2 restarts.
Yeah.
And both of them, for the most part, were solid.
Shit.
You nearly got done by Nick
Yeah.
in the second one. But yeah, pole, I think you led every lap, right?
Yeah.
It's a Grand Slam, no? Pole, win, fastest lap, led every lap.
Yep. Well, I think so
well.
anyway. Yeah. First
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah, You did lead. Yeah, you did. So congratulations, 7th win. I'm 99% sure this one will stay. Didn't see you do anything.
Yeah.
You just checked out like usual. 7th win, so that only puts you with 7 races remaining, 1 away from equaling the all-time record. That could be as early as Singapore. But yeah, anyway, I think the more important thing is it's the closest the championship has ever been so far this season. You are only 2 points away now from leading the drivers' standings, and you're on great form. So, like Seb also kind of said, I don't really have any questions about the race because you did everything right. So, how do you feel about Singapore?
I was doing time trial, I think, a week or two ago in there. It was quite fun.
Touch some grass.
Yeah, so it was good time trial. I've not done any race practice, so I expect to kind of hopefully win or at least get second around there because I really, really want to earn Singapore.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
What a chat that would be to equal the record. Another night race. We haven't had a night race since Saudi, I think, where you got your first pole position.
And then we don't talk about the race.
Yeah, well, you've come a long way since then,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I kind of said around Hungary time, we're coming up some tracks where you're doing well at, and then soon we're going to come up some tracks where Seb's good at,
Yeah.
and then by the end it's kind of a bit of a mix.
Yeah.
So with it being as close as it is now, I kind of wish the championship finale was next week. We still have 7 rounds left, but yeah, I mean for Seb's sake, hopefully he you just got to dig deep, Seb, and you got to, because Oren's gaining quickly here. But yeah,
is anybody quick in like tier 1 on controller? Because I need lessons.
Fire.
I'm going to message Fire asking for lessons.
I think, just for me personally, battery.
Well, I figured that out. Yeah.
Battery.
Okay. Yeah.
And battery.
Okay, that doesn't help me. I'm still 10 seconds off. Right.
It's just got to get the consistency down. But anyway, well done to Oren on the win. Well done to Seb on P2, and well done to Eggy on another podium. That has been very chaotic Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I mean, Bluey got 6th, so that says it all.
I might coach Bluey, you know, because I reckon I can make him somewhat decent.
He was 5.5 seconds off Oren's pole time, so he can find some time.
To be fair, but he races. I guarantee he races on controller, like the default controller settings.
Yeah.
And you need to change him so much to be anywhere near good.
He did better than Josh, drifting, Morgan. He finished the race.
Yeah, I mean, he finished the race, so he's already done a good track. But I would love to see him with like some good controller settings because I reckon he could do absolute bits.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Maybe one day how that can go. But anyway, that has been Baku round 15. Still 7 races to go. Singapore, USA, Mexico, Brazil, Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi to crown the World Drivers' Champion as well as the Constructors' Champion. It's the closest it's been, and game on between the top 2.